Hello everyone. This video I will be going into detail about my move to the USA. First of all, I would like to say that Canada, they have been amazing. They always supported me. They were awesome. They really showed me how it was being in a family, in such a close environment. I'll always miss the laughs that I had with everyone and, all like the training and all the staff, how nice they've been. We'll always have that banter in the future, I'll always see them on deck. I always enjoyed competing for Canada. I loved it and it was amazing. How I got into America in the first place, why I haven't lived in Canada. And that was because, of course, as you guys know, some of my story, my parents were part of the Cirque du Soleil. As they were in the traveling circus, they were in Montreal because that's where like the show was going on. I was born there and we only stayed there for a maximum of like 2 months. We automatically went to Las Vegas, which is where I lived the rest of my life, because that's where, Cirque du Soleil is. That's where my parents still like continue to live, and that's where like I visit them. But the reason I started swimming for Canada, back in 2022, I, of course, qualified for the US junior national team. And I did always want to swim for the US because I was grown up in that environment. I lived in America my whole life. I swam for sandpipers my whole life in Las Vegas. And, everyone had that determination to make it to USA team, And, I wanted to be part of that. And, I made the USA junior national team. But when it came down to documentation, I thought green card was enough because I didn't know the rules. I didn't really look into that. And I thought green card was enough because like I've competed for USA swimming my whole career. But no, they required a US passport. So Ron came to me and he reached out to Team Canada and to see if I could compete at Short Course Worlds on an international level, kind of put my foot through the door there. Canada agreed, and the fact that they let me in, and gave me that support, representing a country for the first time, it was a great feeling. It was an honor, I want to thank Canada for that. They gave me that opportunity to show people that I could compete at international level. I was 17 at the time. When I came back from Short Course Worlds, I learned that my mom was actually in the process of getting that documentation. I did like competing for Canada, so I had no intention to switch. So when I did get my passport, my US passport in 2023, so the year after, I just had it, it was nice to be like to have like dual citizenship. Like it was easier for me for like in airports, lines and things like that. The reason I felt American was because I lived in the US, like I said, in my entire life. I trained, of course, here my entire life. It's just hard to think of myself as like a true Canadian. I never lived there, I never trained there, but I was very honored to compete for them internationally. The reason I switched was because there has been very limited brand deals. It's been really hard for me, especially after the Olympics. I didn't live in Canada, so I couldn't get any brand deals there. Of course, I was in America, and very limited brand deals here was because I wasn't an American athlete. I've been thinking a lot, and this was not an easy decision whatsoever because I really liked competing for Canada, but I needed to move for my own self-interest, for more opportunities, for more business opportunities moving forward in my life, And, there's not a lot of time, of course, that I have left in this sport. Moving to the US is what I feel like I need to do, I understand that there's going to be lots of hate over what I've seen, and there's nothing really I can do about that. And I hope everyone will respect my decision, And I've seen comments saying that I use the system and that they think that this is a political move. That is not the case. Like I said, I am moving for more opportunities for me. At the end of the day, I already made my decision and I can't wait to represent the US in this next chapter of my life. And like I said, I'm just looking out for myself. And yeah, again, I want to say thank you, Canada, for everything. And I hope everyone will understand my decision. Thank you so much for watching this. And I'll see you all in the next video. See ya.